getting screwed over because they don't have the protection that this rule would provide. This rule is to help consumers. This rule is to help veterans. This rule is to help service members. This rule is to help the Americans that are struggling, because the top 50% of our country has done extraordinarily well, but the data is clear. The bottom 50% of our country is working harder and making less. Too often banks, they try to game the system to impose fees on customers even when they shouldn't be charged in the first place, by orchestrating their transactions. Because you think you deposit a check, pull money out, but the way they rig the system is to create a gap in which you are actually in overdraft when technically you've already made that deposit. These fees generated enormous amounts of revenues for banks. I know what it's like to be up against insurmountable odds for my family stories. I know what it's like to be searching for someone who will stand up for you when you're doing everything right in this country, where you're working hard, where you're playing by the rules, to turn around and have some big, impersonal, distant bank screw you for their profits. New Jerseyans wrote into the CFPB, allow me to read, I am writing to file a complaint against Navy Federal Credit Union regarding multiple overdraft fees I've incurred. Despite having sufficient funds when the transactions were authorized, I was charged due to lagged posting of charges and credits. I believe these practices are unfair, and I request an investigation into my account transactions. This is a New Jerseyan who's playing by the rules. Who's going to stand up today and say, I fight for the little guy? I fight for the small business. I fight for the working service member. Who's going to stand up? Some of my colleagues on the Senate Republican side want to raise these prices on Americans and allow these banks to prey upon service members, veterans, and working Americans. I know where I stand, and I encourage my colleagues to preserve this rule that stops predatory big banks from savaging the financial lives of too many Americans. To the distinguished president, I yield the floor.